Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of Brome Bird News. Tatiana's back at work this week, so she'll be back for the next episode. I hope everyone had a chance to get out and count some birds this weekend. We had quite a snowstorm here, which created a lot of bird traffic. And if you're ever wondering how birds get water in the winter, I caught this mourning dove giving me a hand clearing my windshield. Tatiana often talks about what you should do if you find a rare bird in your backyard. In fact, 2 episodes ago we talked about someone who had a European goldfinch wintering at their feeders. But there's another side to this that we have to think about as well. Before you go running off to report a rare bird in your backyard, here's a cautionary tale. Denise Smith of Ottawa, Canada found a lazuli bunting at her feeder. She shared a photo of it on social media and within hours had birders camped out in a park across from her backyard. Now she's stuck with a flock of birders pointing binoculars at her house. She understands that they're there for the bird, but it's still making the Smith family a little uncomfortable. To their credit, the birders are trying to stay out of the way and have set up another feeding spot, hoping to lure the bunting away from the Smiths' backyard. Hopefully, they'll succeed in finding a way to respect the family's privacy and still get their megatick.
It's a favorite question on ornithology exams. What's the name of that fossil that constitutes the so-called missing link between reptiles and birds? The answer is Archeopteryx. Arch what, you may ask? The largely intact fossil demonstrating a clear mix of reptilian and avian features was found in 1861, just a few years after Charles Darwin wrote his famous book on the origin of species. It added a lot of weight to his now widely accepted theory, stating that one species could evolve into another. Since then, 10 more Archeopteryx fossils, no 2 alike, and all of them crow-sized, have been found in a small area north of Munich in Germany. But more recently, in the summer of 2010, a 12th one had been discovered, and in 2018, its formal description had been published, creating quite a buzz among evolutionary scientists. Why? Because this one represents a largely intact skeleton lying on its left side, and it presents an opportunity to debate whether Archeopteryx could actually fly. Examining the creature's wing architecture using state-of-the-art scanning technology and comparing it to the extinct flying reptiles known as pterosaurs, scientists have concluded that it indeed could fly. Not like a diving peregrine falcon or a soaring albatross, but more like the quick bursts over short distances seen in pheasants and peacocks. It was originally thought that most flying that Archeopteryx could achieve was to glide from tree to tree like a flying squirrel. But this fossilized skeleton shows adaptations allowing active flight, albeit unique, which could have allowed it to escape predators and fly among islands. One scientist likened it to the stroke of a butterfly swimmer.
The crow is back in the news again, this time for its advanced problem-solving ability. A group of researchers from the University of Auckland in New Zealand have been studying crows, the New Caledonian crow specifically. They've already proven that the crow has the ability to make its own tools, and in this most recent study demonstrate that the crow is able to think and plan several steps ahead. They devised a test that required the crows, both wild-caught and captive bred, to solve a puzzle requiring different tools at different stages. The crows solved the puzzle even when researchers tweaked it, including a distractor apparatus to confuse the crows. Some of the crows even solved the puzzle on the first try. Head over to Animal Mind's YouTube channel to see the whole video. On Around the World this episode, we're back down under. We like to share stories about countries actively trying to rid islands of rodents to help bird populations, and New Zealand is often at the forefront. Motutapu Island in the Huaraki Gulf in New Zealand has been completely eradicated of rodents, and now 4 shore plovers are being released into the wild there. There are only 250 shore plovers left in the world, which makes them one of the most endangered birds. The island is already home to the saddleback, which are all thriving because of the lack of rodents, and another 21 juvenile shore plovers are scheduled to be released on the island by the end of the year. Last year, we shared a story about the Army Corps of Engineers killing and destroying double-crested cormorant nests on East Island at the mouth of the Columbia River in Oregon. This was part of a plan to save the juvenile salmon that were being wiped out by the cormorants when they swam downstream after the breeding season. Well, the eradication program is finished, with over 5,000 birds killed and 6,000 nests destroyed, which has resulted in the collapse of one of the largest double-crested cormorant breeding colonies on the planet. But instead of disappearing, the cormorants have fled their breeding ground, moved up the river, and established a new breeding colony. Since they've moved closer to their food source, the cormorants are now eating 3 times as many salmon. The whole program is being hailed as one of the worst failures of wildlife management in decades. Before having a look at the top 5, I just wanted to mention that please have your photos in by the 13th of March at the latest. The photos will be sent off to the judges on the 14th, so we need your submissions by the 13th. Now, let's have a look at the top 5. And now on to the winners. In third place, we have Brenda Mulhausen. Second place goes to Dave O'Neill. And the first place and grand prize winner goes to Francis Witchell. Next month's theme is Birds on Buildings. Good luck, everyone. And that's it for me. Next episode, I'll be back behind the camera and Tatiana will be hosting the show. I hope your bird counts went well. Have a great week.